Kelly, and thank you, Karen, and thank each one of you for being here. I'd just like to connect heart to heart with you for just a moment. That heart resonance that connects all of us on this planet is so important, and I feel it strongly here. Who am I to come and talk about love when love lives here?
It does.
It does. I can feel it. Well, today the Centers for Spiritual Living have a topic. The many colors of love is the theme for the month. Great theme. And what I'd like to do today is perhaps just clarify a few things about love. I'd like to give you a couple of definitions, explore those with you. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. And then I'd like to give you some examples at the end of the practical application. You know, love is a word in English, and there's only one word in English called love. And if you think about love, you probably love apple pie. You love ice cream. You love your partner, your spouse. You love Karen's music. You love this place. There's a sentence out there, you make love. There's all kinds of ways that we use that word love. And yet if we take the Greek language, if we take the words of the New Testament, and you will find several words, in fact there's 6 words, that are all translated in the King James Version as just love. In 1 John, there's a little sentence that says God is love. That doesn't say that God is loving. It says God is the essence of love. And the Greek word there is agape. Very different than the other words used in both the Bible and in our everyday communication about love. So we've kind of thought for a moment about this word love as we commonly use it. And then we got the word agape, a quality of God, an attribute of God, something that God is, a description of God. Very different, a very different word. And most of us really have no idea to the depth of that love that is expressed in that word that says God is love. Because most of us live in a world of love that is the definitions that we commonly use in the English language. So, you ask, what is the difference? What is the difference between these two expressions that we have in language, between divine love and human love? What's the real difference? Well, I assert that in every case that you can think of, that word, human love word, that we use all the time is conditional. Do you have a relationship, a situation, something you love, even Karen's music we love, that is not conditional? Can you think of one thing that's not conditional? You may have a relationship with someone, a partner. Is there something that that person can do or say or action that person could take that would diminish your love, that would cause it maybe not to be? As a pastor, I've counseled with hundreds of couples. Some of them I married. And they joined together on that marriage day and they pledged their love eternally. What happens 6 months later, a year later, 5 years later? Yes. Yes. Now, if you're going to talk, you have to tell us, everybody, what you're saying.
Come on, Mikey.
Come on, Mikey.
Oh, Mikey, that was good.
We love you.
It seems like eternity.
It seems like But am I right about human love? Am I right about human love?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
You agree?
Yes.
Yes.
100%? Human love. That thing that we write songs about and we talk about and write poetry about is heavily conditional. But divine love, no, that's something different. Human love is also very transactional. What can I get out of it? What can I get out of life? What can you give me? That's not true of divine love. So, there's nothing wrong, by the way, in the human situation on this planet where we live, of having desires and doing something for somebody and in return getting paid or acknowledged, or have a high quality of esteem. There's nothing wrong with that. But on the divine side, if it's not conditional, if there's no conditions to it, what is the purpose of it? What is the purpose of divine love? Got a hand up?
It feels good.
It feels good. That's true. I'd like to give you two other reasons why that divine love exists. The first, I would say, we recognize oneness. You know, as we look out at the world, as I look at you, as you meet people day by day, as you develop and as you practice that thing called divine love within you, a transformation takes place. And that transformation is that you begin to see spirit in every one that you meet. You see spirit in, forget the name of the little dog that's sitting under the piano. Herbie.
Yeah.
You know? You see it everywhere. You see it in the flowers and the plants. You see it in the beautiful day that we have. Because divine love, as it infiltrates us, gives us a new view of humankind. In the view that we live, we begin to see God everywhere present. So that's what that divine love within us does. It softens our hearts and causes us to see what we didn't see before. The second thing that I would say is that it draws that quality to us. Whatever you see in others, whatever blesses you, whatever good you see in the world continues to multiply and it comes into your life and it gets drawn to you. Love, divine love, saturates us and permeates us. It causes us to be it, which by the way we are, because every attribute of God we also have. Every attribute. There's no lost souls, because how could a part of God be lost? How could it be? We're all expressions of the divine, without exception. And divine love causes us to see that oneness, and also causes us, as we live, to draw that quality from others to us. So you see, when we give up conditions, which is the aspect of the human love, it reappears to us later on as an attribute of divine love. So we never really give up anything. It just circulates. Becomes part of us. Now, when we talk about divine love, I'm going to quote the words of Eric Butterworth. I hope you don't mind me quoting a Unity minister in CSL Church.
Of course not.
Good. When you are conscious that you are in love with life, with all creation, and that the whole universe is in love with you, you have everything going for you.
Can you say that again, please?
I'd be blessed to say that again. When you are conscious that you're in love with life, with all creation, and the whole universe is in love with you, that's that divine love flowing, you have everything going for you. Everything. Everything. That quality of divine love, we live in it. We live and move and have our beings in it. It's what animates us. It's what we breathe. The whole world is what you see. You're in love with the world. The world is in love with you. When you get up in the morning, you say, thank you for divine love that fills my life, that blesses me, that blesses others. It's a marvelous way. It's incredible. It's incredible. We can't fall out of that type of love. We can't outthink that type of love because it has the attributes of God. It's omniscient. It's omnipotent. It's omnipresent. It's everywhere. And when you begin to move into that type of love and exercise that type of love towards others, it comes back flowing in your life. And that's the reason why this community is the way it is because I sense deeply that you are exercising or practicing that divine love towards each other. I sense it heavily here. Another attribute of that, as I mentioned about, is a transactional world. It's a world of what can I get? It's a world of benefits. It's a world of trying to get more, worrying about it. If you get yours, I won't get mine. After all, I've worked all my life for where I am. Why shouldn't you? It's a very transactional world. And as we live in this transactional world, we find that we're closing in on ourselves, and we no longer are expressing what's good for others. It's more about what's good for me. I'd like to, in a couple of minutes left, give you a couple of examples. I'm going to give you a couple of examples from just this past year in my life. It was mentioned that my wife Sharon and I were ministers of Unity Spiritual Center in Sun City, Arizona. 12 years there. A wonderful, loving congregation. 400 or so people in a congregation that really we learned to love each other. Well, it was about a year ago in January. My wife and I discussed the possibility of turning that ministry over to another minister. My wife wanted to move closer to one of her daughters. She has 4 daughters. One of her daughters lives in Loveland. And as we thought about that, We did so with a lot of fear, sense of loss. What's going to happen to the ministry? As though this ministry is going to disappear if 2 ministers leave, you know. So we decided, and this was a decision only between my wife and myself, in January last year, to announce to the Board of Trustees that we were leaving and moving to Colorado. Thursday before the board meeting, the phone rings and Reverend Sharon Connors is on the phone. And she says, "Hey Jim, you aren't looking for an associate minister there, are you?" She says, for some reason in my meditation, she says, I feel drawn to Arizona. And we said, well, there's an opening as an associate minister at Unity of Phoenix. And she says, no, it's not Unity of Phoenix. I feel drawn to Unity Spiritual Center in Sin City. How did that happen? How did that happen? You see, what we did is we surrounded that community with divine love. We centered ourselves and said, nothing can come against this community as it is an expression of divine love in Sin City, Arizona. Angels all around us, providing guiding light. I'll give you another example. In June, we sold our house. We decided that a certain day we were going to leave. The moving company was to arrive on a Tuesday. Tuesday, the moving company didn't arrive. They phoned us and said, we'll be there tomorrow morning, bright and early. Wednesday morning, we had to be out that day. Didn't arrive. And then about 6 o'clock, knock comes on the door. And there's a couple of guys standing there, and they got a rented Penske truck to move a 4-bedroom house. How? And we could have been angry with them, could have railed against the moving company. No, Spirit. The situation is here, and we surround it with love and light. 15 minutes later, the phone rings. Mac Essery, who is a member of our congregation who used to drive large UPS trucks, listened to our story, and he says, go and get Jim to rent 2 26-foot trucks, and I know of a company that loads furniture. It's called Muscle Man Movers. So the Muscle Men, that's not me, you know. So Muscle Man Movers came out that night, and the following morning, they fit everything in 2 26-foot trucks, and Mac Essery, an angel in our congregation. And by the way, I should define angel. An angel is nothing more than the presence of God. It's a symbolic word. Angels all around us with love and light in the form of Mac Essery drove one of those trucks here to Colorado, and it was unloaded here by another company. How does that happen? 15 minutes later, Mac happens to call. When we arrived here, you know, the first few days, this white stuff started coming out from the sky. My golden retriever thought it was ice cream. They all do. And then we decided we better turn that furnace on. Furnace didn't seem to come on. So what do? And our immediate reaction should have been, boy, we started fretting about it and wondering how much it was going to cost. Do we have the money to repair this furnace? Do we need a new furnace? No, we surrounded it with love and light. And then I looked on Home Advisor and clicked on somebody's name, and I said, love and light surrounds us, whoever shows up. And a man came in his truck, heating and air conditioning company. He comes in, he goes downstairs, 5 minutes later he comes up, says nothing but a fuse. I said, what do we owe you for the service call? He says, oh, nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. Nothing. I'll catch you next time. We surround every condition, every situation, every so-called problem with love and light. That's the purpose of divine love. That's the whole purpose, and is freely available to us at all times. Well, most of us, we dabble in that human love and the things that offers no solutions other than conditions. So why don't we just go into prayer for a moment? As we go into prayer, I'd like to ask you a question. Is there some condition, some situation that's got you a little concerned this morning? Is there some condition that you'd like to surround right now with love and light? So just in the silence of this moment, call that condition or circumstance into God's love. Yes, there are angels all around us in every part of life, guiding us, protecting us with healing love and light. Peace. Peace, rest easy. There are angels here and now. Peace. Rest easy. There are angels here and now.
Angels all around us, every part of life, guiding us, protecting us with healing love and light. You can feel angels all around us. Every part of life, guiding us, protecting us with healing love and light. Peace, peace, rest easy. There are angels here and now. Peace, rest easy. There are angels here and now. Angels all around us in every part of life, guiding us, protecting us with healing love and light. So it is, and so we let it